So what's so special about this one, Seattle Forge? Well, there's a few things. First of all, this is the first game in quite a while where I haven't sucked. Secondly, we have a new clan member, Rogue FC, who decided to join us after watching some of the videos, and he liked the fact that we were fairly social, at about his skill level, looked like we were having a lot of fun, and I'd really like to get in some of the dialogue of these games, but I don't want to be a streamer. I don't have the hardware or the bandwidth for it, but I'd like to get that in sometime, and maybe we'll figure out a way to have some of the folks who are in the clan actually help with the narration of these things, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, need to figure that out. Hey, if you've got tips, let me know. So, we've got Rogue FC, who is in his Tier 9 Japanese medium. I am in the M46 Patton, one of my very favorite tanks at the moment. And Grizz is in one of his very favorites, the T54E1. And I am not too excited to press forward. I've been getting my face kicked in World of Tanks lately, and it seems like my teams are passive, and I push ahead a little bit. I get focused, and I was going to say something bad there, and knocked out of the game. Okay, this KR melts away. Well played. But Grizz is having none of it. Grizz is having none of it. He wants this gun actives, and he's pouring in, and he's a much more conservative player than me, so I'm all for it. I'll go in and help, and I'll probably get in one shot to his 4. And Grizz gets in a shell, and I get in a shell, and Grizz finishes him off, which is awesome. And he pushes ahead while I kind of was ducking back. Like I said, I'm getting my face smashed in. It is 2-0 in this barn burner. Alright, and we have got an IS and a Lurva was smashed to pieces, which is excellent. Grizz takes one in the face from the IS, and I'm surprised that went in, but it did. And I'm able to put one into the IS. Somebody else does. I'm sorry, I can't read. I'm doing narration from the movie maker here, and the resolution is terrible. I get a second win, and then IS is removed from the game. It is 5-0. SS Clan looking pretty good at this point. Grizz with the only kill. I know we're doing a lot of damage. New guy is sort of bringing up the rear and sticking with the pack a little bit. That's just fine by me. All right, I move on ahead. Now I am nervous. I have been getting my face stomped in these games here, and what happens next kind of stops my heart a little bit. And I realize they're only pixel tanks, but oh, T54, and he's hauled down, and I know that's not a shot, and I don't take it, and I narrowly get missed by the T54 as I pull back. It looks like their whole team really did kind of push on that western side, which I think is good news for us. We're now controlling at least 3/4 of the map, and I push on here not realizing the E100 was actually up as high as he was there, and I take a huge smash from an AP shell on the side, which is really dumb, but I did want to get into this piece of real estate where I can peek and poke and try to control the return of the enemy team as they try to come back and defend their cap. And I'm really proud of this team for not just capping out. We all pushed past it. We have them on the ropes at 6-4. So we're going to have to earn it. This is still pretty close. This E100, I take this bad shot. He's angled. I took it at the lower plate, which is, of course, angling down and to the side. There's no chance that was going to go through. T54's got me worried. Jagdpanzer E100 over there, E100 over there. I'm playing the odds here a little bit. And it looks like new boy Rogue FC is in the middle of it, and I take a shot at this Guerrilla 15, who was really eye-fucking me a few seconds ago, but now he's fixated on that blob of tanks who's along the H-line, and he's ignoring me completely while he looks for shots, that group of tanks, and I'm able to take my time and put the second one in, and before I get a third one in, Rogue FC takes him out. Alright. Going for a tracking shot on the Jagdpanzer E100. No dice, and he immediately swings his gun around to me, and I back the hell off. And luckily, somebody smashes him, which is great. And so now I've got the E100. I'm hoping to get to work his side here. And of course, I hit the very top smoothed out part of his mud flap, and it bounces away uselessly. But I'll have another shot in a minute here, buddy. I'll have another shot in a minute. And I also know the T-54 is trying to sneak up on my left here. I do sneak one into the E-100, And it seems like an inadequate amount of health to be taking away, but, you know, it does add up. Alright, I have a fantastic shot at the side of the tank. Rogue is coming in and trying to circle strafe the E-100. I wait for the turret to go flat while I'm taking one from the T-54, and I get one into the E-100. I turn my attention to the T-54, who gets another one into me. But as he's going away, I get one into him and track him, and Rogue is going to take work of him. His health's a little low here, which isn't great. T-54's reload is great. I whiff one at the disappearing T-54, and I'm really concerned about where this is going. IS-7 making a move on me, so I push over the top here, hoping to get into the rear of the IS-7. And I move around, and I get one into the I-7, but he mashes me. That's the end of me on this one. That's the end of the Esses clan. But luckily, Kiwi Dynamite, who I have platooned with before, is in his Leopard 1, and he's going to clean this up for us. So he is missed narrowly and managed to smash the enemy tank there. The IS-7's put away, and then the T-54, who's trying to make work of our Waffenträger, has this Leopard to deal with. Firing on the move and missing. He goes in, circles around the hill looking for cover and able to take a shot at the Waffenträger, but reveals his ass, and Kiwi Dynamite smashes him to pieces, and that's the end of that. And here we have our final replay. Capt and I are playing in our Tier 7 light tanks. I am in the AMX 1357 Premium French light tank with a 57mm autoloader and 8 shell capacity. I guess that's the right word. All right. I've got 8 shells in the clip, which is great, and it loads in just a little over 15 seconds. And Capt is in his Bulldog. Now, the weird behavior here, take a look in the top left-hand corner at my frames per second. The very left number is the frames per second that I was actually getting while playing the game. Something was going horribly wrong in my system, and it was actually the NVIDIA software, which wasn't allowing me to actually record voice here. I have to use some other software to do that. But anyway, it was bogging things down so bad that I could barely make sense of the game. So I'm in Task Manager trying to kill some of that stuff, hiding behind a rock, waiting for it to resolve itself before I can actually get into the game. So it's 1-0, and we actually have a pretty good chance to win this game. But well, we sent a lot of people down south. They didn't perform that well, and in the north, we actually have a large number of people who are taking pretty far back positions and hiding behind heavy cover and not getting any spots. So we don't actually have much movement happening on the map, and I was really concerned about that. And I wasn't going to go south because that's just a bunch of heavies, and it's nonsense for me to fly into there with this tank made out of foil with its 57mm gun. So I decided to go north and scope things out a little bit, and Capt is giving me the lay of the land, which is that nobody's really moving at this point. He's poking up and spotting, and everyone is behind such cover that they can't see or shoot at anything that he's spotting. So I give it a good look. By the way, how's everybody's Independence Day weekend going? I'm having a great time. Went down to Olympia, hung out with a friend of mine. We watched The Cell. She stopped it near the end and said it wasn't like the book and told me how it was supposed to end. And she's lovely and charming, so of course that was the right thing to do, although it was slightly off-putting at the time. But I had a great time. Anyway, so I decided to move up and take a look at some of these tanks, because I know I can pen a T-34-100 and a T-20 and everybody else that they've got up there, and I auto-aim on the T-34-100, and I think they're pretty distracted at this point. And I just start to unload this 57mm at close range, and look, although it doesn't do much damage each shot, it does have 8 shells in the case, And I roll up and I put the last one in and then I back off. And my teammates did move along with me, which is fantastic. So they had the wherewithal to actually move up when I moved up. And I back up to reload. And that T-34-100 will be mine. Alright, it's 5-3. Chance to win's gone up. It's close to 70%. They put away this poor little VK, the medium. That was actually such a mediocre tank, but he did just sit there in the middle. And I put away T-34-100 and I round on the T-20, who actually puts a shot into me. And he knows the gig's up, and he is bolting to get off of that cliff. Unfortunately, he runs right into the loving arms of Capt in his Bulldog. And he sleeps his final sleep. It is 10-6. And I am reloading, and I'm moving towards the Cap, and the team's actually spotted. Aha! And I get one into him before he's baked by somebody else on the team. Oh, by Capt. That's cool. Capt is a kill-stealing little bitch, it turns out. It's late at night. I'm perhaps a little bitter. Alright, so we keep rolling into the Cap. I am loaded up. I am ready to go. We've got this SU-100 to deal with. And I'm really proud of the team here because we didn't have anybody who was seriously going to cap. You know, we had these guys on the rope. Let's finish them off. Alright, the Jackson. Miss. Bounce. Hit. Penetration. Bounce. And somebody steals my kill. Fair play. I got 3 shells left. I roll up on the SU-100. I put in 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And Capt was good enough not to get in the way of my shooting there. He stayed clear of the gun in the line of sight. Alright, and we're going to have to deal with this T-29 here in a second. And I load up, and I start to make my trek towards the T-29. But let's not make it easy on him. Let's keep moving. You know. Aha! He misses. We roll in. The Panther's here to help me out. Well, he's not really, because he's getting in the line of fire here. And I really could have done a little better had the Panther not been in the way. And now I have to play it really close and get up behind here. And I'm only able to put a few into the T-29 while bouncing around a bit. We do all right. And it's 14-9. Only the KV-4, I think it says. It's hard to read because when I do this narration in the video editing software I have, it's not high definition. Alright, Cap and I roll in on the KV-4, and the KV-4 decides that I am lunch. I do have less health, but you know, you'd think, I don't know. Anyway, I get crushed. Cap is able to put a few more in, and the KV-4 will meet his ultimate demise, leading to the end of the game. Probably should have used Cap's replay. It was probably better. Anyway,